be focusing on largely. My guest is already here, Festo Machira, who describes himself as a retro vintage stylist. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you.
Tuanzie tu kwanza with that.
Yes.
What is retro vintage styling?
Retro vintage is a style that revived to the past. It is the style that is relating to the past. The retro, the prefix retro is, it means backward, it means flashback. So it is anything old that appeals to the eyes, e.g. vintage, fashion, pictures, styles, pieces, decor, and a lifestyle. So when you are doing retro, you are doing a lifestyle and art.
So it's basically the old.
It is old, which executes art.
All right.
Yeah.
Old that executes art.
Yeah.
When did you begin doing this?
I began this when I was in high school. I used to participate in drama. So I was fascinated with the way people were dancing and people were using their costumes to perform folk songs. And so I wanted to encounter this journey of doing art. So the moment I left high school, I joined Moi University. And in Moi University, I did literature, where I encountered writers, musicians in the 4 years that I was in Moi University. So it is something that I have been living with. It is something that I have been dreaming of. Yeah.
So is this like a business for you? Ama, how do you do this styling?
This style, to me, I can say it is a lifestyle. Then again, I can do business with it.
So largely, is it a business?
It is both.
It's both?
Yeah, it is a lifestyle.
So do you have like a shop, or do you like sell? What is it exactly?
In the case of retro, I am the shop myself.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I am the dummy myself. I sell myself. So in the case of business, I sell silver and other things like gold, watches. So people are using this figure, this retro, to engage me in business. So they want to see Festo so that they can buy from Festo. Yeah.
Right.
So I use my name as a brand. Yeah.
So the business side of it, ilianza when exactly, and how has it been, you know, just being in this kind of fashion business? Because all the time, most times we talk about fashion, we always think about the clothing side of it. We rarely think about the jewelry part of it, which is what you're largely engaged into.
Okay, I decided to do business because I graduated as a teacher, but you know our system, it is taking long to absorb other teachers. So instead of waiting, I had to do something constructive. That's why I started selling silver.
Which year was this?
It was 2 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I started selling silver, and this business has grown. People are looking for me. People are engaging me on social media that they want to buy from me because I have sold my silver items to big names here in Kenya, but also internationally, of which it has made me to be known, not here in Kenya, but internationally. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. So the silver, is it silver and gold or just silver?
It is silver.
Strictly silver.
Silver for now, but
the,
gold.
This is the chains, earrings, basically jewelry.
Like this one, I can say this one. This one is a sample of silver items. This
That's
one,
original?
Yeah, this one is original. It has a number. The number is 925.
What's that, the serial number?
Those are the code.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
9254. That is for silver. But for gold is 950. That is for 21 karat. And for 18 karat is 750. Yeah. So if you want to identify a gold, you first of all look at the code. Then you look at the appearance. If you touch a gold, it will attract you. Yeah, but silver, it is easy to identify because people have been putting on silver in Kenya, and people are not new to silver here in Kenya. So you might identify original silver, and also you might identify a fake silver by just looking at it and also by the texture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Festo, how do your clients believe? I mean, when you look at these items, particularly silver and gold, there's so many fake of them in the market. Sometimes, even for those that are in this business, it could be difficult for their clientele to believe that this is actually legit stuff that you're selling to them. Have you encountered such kind of clients where this might not just be the original item that you want to sell to me?
Okay, that is a good question. You know, in any business, there must be competitors. Even when you are dealing with maybe say vehicles or alcohol, you will find more competitors in the business. So I feel that people who are bringing counterfeit as original silver, they are right because they are in business. So we cannot deny them a chance to do their business. But if you have a legit thing, people will come for you each and every time.
All right.
Yeah.
What are your off-peak, what are your peak seasons, off-peak? We have peak seasons and off-peak seasons in business, in any kind of business, you know, and also largely fashion. Time gani zinakuanga peak, time gani zinakuanga off-peaks, and what informs that?
Okay, the good time is the festival seasons. For example, Eid and Christmas Eve. They are the best seasons for us to sell the silver. Yeah.
So mostly Christmas seasons, celebratory seasons, those are peak seasons.
People want to dress. Yeah, so those are the seasons that we get good clients. Yeah.
So for you, was it fashion? Is this something you had envisioned doing? Yes, you said you did education in school.
Yes.
But then at the back of your mind, was fashion something you had envisioned doing, and given another chance, would you still be in the fashion business?
Fashion is a talent, just like art. Art is a talent. It is something that someone is born with. So even if, for example, you are a news anchor and you have a talent in fashion, you will come with it in this job. Yeah, so even me in business, I go with my fashion. Even in school discourse, I go with my fashion. So I want to be identified as a stylish teacher. I want to be identified as a stylish business personnel. Yeah, so fashion, it is something that is inborn. Then business, it is a skill as well as education. Yeah.
Let's talk about marketing. I mean, in every business, there's that marketing aspect of it. Which is your best way of marketing your products, be it whether it's the, you know, the old, as you mentioned, the styling bit of it, the jewelry part of it? Which is your style of marketing? My
marketing, first of all, it is derived from my stylish jewelry, because for me, jewel is just a fashion, and then I take it as a style, as a lifestyle. As I said earlier on, that when you are dealing with retro, you are dealing with lifestyle. So I had to pick every items on the way. So the moment I picked silver, people are coming for me. So I had to venture on. And you largely deal with silver. Jewelry items, silver. Yeah, so even, for example, the last week on the Nairobian Gazette, I was featured as my stylish jewelry items keep customers coming.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it is my style that is making people to come. So I have to stick with this style, and I have to be relevant in this style so that people could come for me. Yeah, so I use something. I use like maybe say a bait to catch the fish.
So that's how you do
This
the
is a
marketing.
bait, yeah. This is a bait because people will go for brand. They won't go for product.
All right.
So people are buying the brand. They are buying retro vintage. They are buying Chira. Yeah.
All right. So how does social media play a part in your marketing, or is it referrals also part of what aids in your marketing for your product?
When we are speaking about media, we are speaking about visual art for me. I use visual art, for example, to capture, to appeal to the audience. Then the audience will see this person is using even silver in this visual art. So I want something like this. I want what this person is wearing. So I have to engage this person to tell me where he's getting this silver. But fortunately enough, it is an advantage to me because I am the one who is selling the silver. Yeah.
Now, going by that, head in that article, because I actually read it, saying that your stylish jewelry items keep customers coming.
Thank you.
What is so catchy about your items? I mean, you could get many people in the fashion space, and this is actually fashion dealing with jewelry, because fashion is broad, you understand?
Yes.
So what exactly about your items keep customers coming? What makes tick about the way in which you do your business, the way in which you have kept your items, the way in which you treat your clients or customers, so to speak?
Okay, items to me is diverse. It is not only silver. It is also watches like this one. This one is retro.
Jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry. It is a jewelry, and it is also my item. So I have to market it well. So I have to assemble every pieces that looks like retro, something that was in the past. So I have to pick everything on the way that was in the past in order to bring it to the limelight. Then people will see, because people have been looking for these items, they will engage me later, maybe on social media. When they read about the newspapers that have been featured, they will come to me.
And you brought all of them here, the ones that
I want to sell myself. Today is the best day for me because I've never done a retro vintage interview. I've been doing just normal interviews. Yeah, but this one is a retro vintage interview integrated with business. Yeah.
All right. Now, fashion is one of those things, whichever way you want to look at it. And like, as I mentioned earlier, fashion is broad.
Yes.
For what you largely deal with is the jewelry aspect of it. And you've talked about the items in which you deal with. But then again, how do you keep up with the trends? I mean, trends keep emerging day in, day out. There's always something new in the market. As someone who is into fashion, jewelry, how do you keep up with that?
First of all, retro vintage is timeless. It will never go out of the market. Every time people want to listen about the old school music, they want to see the old fashion. They want to see the old vibe. Again, retro vintage is unique because when you see a retro car, you will stare at it for a long time, unlike a Toyota V8 car, because it is normal. But this one is standing out as the only one. So that thing of loneliness is the one that makes me going. Again, retro vintage is it is a nostalgic experience. People will want to explore in this thing. Maybe, for example, you have done your shirt like this. To me, I see it as a retro vintage. I can put on a shirt like this only to capture the attention of the people. So I want to explore this in order to bring the people on board. Again, retro vintage is easy to afford. You cannot walk from here going to downtown without meeting a vintage shirt which is sold at a cheaper price. So people go for cheap things. That's why retro vintage will still be timeless, and it will still stand out forever and ever. Yeah.
So for you, it's basically what makes this kind of jewelry unique. That's how you also keep up with the trends in, in the market when it comes to fashion jewelry.
Uniqueness, when I was doing my course in the university, I was taught about literature and postmodernism. That is about creating an image. So if you create the image, people will judge you by your image. They will look at you and judge you by just seeing you. So if you create your image perfectly as a stylish, then people will look for you. Those who want to be stylish, to be a stylist, will look for you. Yeah.
All right, you also talked about affordability, cheapness, expensive in terms of items. Let's talk about pricing of items. How do you go about pricing items? Because again, you're not just into fashion styling, but you're also into business. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So my items, for example, silver. New silver goes for 250 Kenya shillings, 1 gram. So, for example, this one is 30 grams. If you multiply by 250, it gives you 7,500. So, we do weigh on the scale before we sell to the customers. So, we use the weighing scale to sell our items. Yeah.
Now, in terms of keeping up with the market, you also talked about, and read the article there, particularly on this daily. This should be what, the Nairobian?
This one is the Nairobian.
Yeah, you talked about the fact that competition is one of those challenges. And I'm thinking in every business, competition should be one of those things that need not to be a challenge. In any way, it needs to be something that allows you to think broader, to be more creative. So maybe you can just talk to us a bit about that. How does this pose a challenge? And this is also particularly for those doing this kind of business, given the fact that people are really venturing into fashion, and it could be any form of fashion. How does competition pose a challenge for a business person, particularly those into fashion?
Competition creates fear. And if you are afraid, you will not move on with your business. So I welcome competitions in my life. So this competition will make me to move and stand strong. And when these competitors come with their things, I also have my own way of doing my things. So I also have my own way of selling my silver. I also have maybe a mode of keeping up with the business. Yeah.
So we can say that competition does not pose a challenge to you. It actually makes...
Competition is not a challenge to me.
It makes you become more creative.
Yeah, it makes me to think each and every time. It is not a challenge at all.
And it's not a challenge.
It is not a challenge.
So you said something different with what you're saying.
It is a challenge, but it is not making me to fear.
Let's say it is a positive challenge.
It is a positive.
Every business needs to have competition.
But the worst challenge is insecurity. You know about people are being looked down upon when you are putting on silver. They think that you are a thug. Maybe you have lost focus. You are now coming. Maybe you are in a bad company. So that is the worst challenge to me.
All right.
Yeah.
So as we wind down, Festo, this conversation, I would just like you to speak to someone who really wants to get into this kind of business, fashion business, as we said, and particularly jewelry, since that's what you largely deal with. As we said, like, this is a business where you'd get particularly good number of young people getting into. It's fashion. It could be dressing, it could be jewelry, it could be styling, whichever form of fashion there is. What do they need to know when they get in this kind of space?
First of all, they should know their purpose on the earth, because some people want to come into this business, but they are not ready. But when they go to other businesses, they become successful. Mm-hmm. So if you choose to become a silver dealer, you have to be strong, because there are people who have been there in the business, and there are people who will still come to the business. So you have to focus. You have to put your energy in this, and you also have to pray so that the Lord could open the doors for you.
Good place to end it. Focus, pray, and know why you're getting into that kind of business. I mean, purpose at the end of the day is what makes it key, isn't it?
Thank you.
All right, so I have been speaking to Festo Machira, who is a retro vintage stylist, largely deals with fashion jewelry. That's why you really had him talk about silver, oftentimes this conversation. But this is where we end this first conversation of today. We still have plenty more after this break. Stick with us.